Here's part 2 of my series of materials that an art therapist would use. So today, the material of the day is watercolor. So this is actually a watercolor palette. It's really compact, easy to use. You can actually take them out and they can be replaced. This is a set that I did probably get online. It's called Mozart. But also when we're talking watercolors, I did want to bring your attention to watercolor pencils. We did discuss colored pencils before, but these are a great alternative. You actually use them as a colored pencil, but you can add water to them. And here we go with the details. So let's talk about what it evokes in my client, in my patient. It is so great for expressing emotions. I find it one of the most fluid materials to use. Actually, where I work, we use something similar to a palette. It's more of one of those school grade palettes that you do see, but people love it. It really allows them to express their emotions in like a fluid manner. So second is relaxation. It really gives you that relaxed state, the meditative state. So it is just the simple task of, the paint on paper and really kind of spreading it thin. I do encourage my patients to add water to the paper first and then really see the spread, almost like that ombre effect, which is really cool. And it just brings them to a really great place of calm. Next is creativity and self-expression. So it allows people to really go with the flow, feel what they're painting. There are sometimes I do give more specific directives, but for the most part, I work with watercolor and talk about emotion. What is being taken from you today? What do you feel? What colors are speaking to you? Things like that. And you'd be amazed at just people combining colors even. So if you use an 8 palette watercolor set, people will take it to another level. And it's really cool watching that whole process. Here's another thing that you probably didn't know that watercolors could do, but they actually can enhance problem solving. So problem solving is basically the trial and error part of it. So a lot of my patients that come to me have never used watercolor. So I don't like to give too much direction. I'm not an art teacher, I'm an art therapist. So I had to shift gears when I came into this profession, but it's really important that they do experiment on their own. So that's that problem solving. So they may do a piece of their paper and realize, oh my gosh, it's too dark. Now what? So I will give hints and say water really will dilute, really thin out that hue. So they go with it. And it's really cool to see them solving their own problems and giving them that sense of accomplishment. And the greatest part of watercolors is self-discovery. So once they have that self-esteem boost, which is oh my gosh, I can do it, the other part is wow, I didn't know I had that in me. And I can't tell you how many of my patients and clients will come back to me at a later date and say, thank you so much for introducing me to this. I was always intimidated by watercolor, but now it is something I love to do. Stay tuned tomorrow. I have another material that I'm going to discuss with you. I'm Jean, and I'm an art therapist.